We have one chart over here. And I'm going to give you, we'll discuss soon the different tools that we'll be able to use throughout this. Okay, so like I said, I'm putting everything on the table. I'm putting all the cards on the table, literally. And I don't want anyone to get overwhelmed. A lot of letters. There's 32 letters you see over here. There's 32 letters you see over here. We're not going to learn all of them today. But you will be reading by next week. Not a lot, but it's guaranteed. Everybody here will be reading some words next week. Guaranteed. Okay. Now, the pronunciation we're going to use for the different letters, we're going to use the Sephardic pronunciation. But there is also the Ashkenazic pronunciation. So if you hear someone say Shabbos instead of Shabbat, nothing wrong. That means that this letter over here, instead of it being two tufts, one's a tuft, one's a sub. And we're going to learn when we get there, that's all the way at the end, the last letter. When we're going to get there, we're going to learn the difference between the tuft and the sub. Okay, Shabbos or Shabbat. Okay, two different letters. Questions that merge together. You can see why they have to merge together and where they're not merged together. So we're going to use again. We're going to use today bet. If someone says Bays, Aleph Bays, that's what that's the Aleph. So we're going to choose over here bet because I'm doing it for one reason. Modern day Israel chose that way. It's easier. And it's only no. Same thing. Letters the same. Okay. So we're going to start with the first letter, which is Aleph. I take it back. I'm not going to start with the first letter. Call it Aleph, but I'm not going to start with it because in order to know what an Aleph is, there's two more letters you have to know before that. Does anybody recognize an Aleph? Okay. Two more letters we have to know before that. First of all, the Aleph is a silent letter. It has no sound of its own. Aleph is made up of Yud on top, a Yud on the bottom, and above in the middle. The Yud is the smallest letter. Yud. So, and then it's above, in the middle. Okay, don't worry about what they sound like. Yud, Yud, above. Just know that the Aleph is made up of a Yud on top, a Yud on the bottom, and above in the middle that connects. Okay? Now, the Yud on top represents God. If you're going to look in the Siddur, when it says God's name, look at the Shema Yisrael. When it says God's name, it's going to have two Yuds there. Or sometimes maybe even they don't want to put two Yuds next to each other, put one Yud and they'll put a little thing after it. But the Yud represents God who's on top. That's the top Yud of the Aleph. The top Yud. And there's a bottom Yud. The bottom Yud represents, now who remembers the star the Nazis made us wear? It said in the middle, Jud, or in German it's Jud. They wanted to make Germany Juden Rein, clear of Yud, clear of Yid. And so a yid represents us on the bottom. Now, if you look at your charts, you can take a quick look and tell me which is the smallest of the letters. Answer is the yud. Actually, a yud in script is just a little dot like that. Just a little line. That's a yud. Just a little line. The vav, which is the next letter we have to learn, is just a little longer line. That's actually what I did. I took this and I pulled it down. That's what a vav is. Pull it down. So in stick figure, this is the smallest letter, the yud, and then this vav is just pulling that down. Okay? We can learn the significance of that in a little bit. But so the yud on top of the aleph represents God, who's above. The yud on the bottom represents us, and the vav is a connector. In Hebrew, if we want to connect two words, we put a vav in the middle. I'll give you an example. Who wants to give an example? Okay. If we want to say daron, you say in Hebrew. How do you say daron in Hebrew? Daron. Okay. Daron. I'm sorry. Daron. You got it right? You did. Daron. And who do you want to do? Daron and? Yali. Yali. How do you say Eli in Hebrew? Yali. Okay. What if you want to say daron and Yali? Daron ve'yali. Daron ve'yali. You add the vav in the middle, and the vav connects. That's a vav. A vav is a connector. This has a lot of Kabbalistic significance. A vav is a connector. Okay. Now, over here we have the yud on the top, which is the yud on the bottom, which is, and you have a vav in the middle that connects us. A vav is a connector. How do we connect? So actually, the word mitzvah, means connection. That's what it means. It comes from word it means connection. When we do a mitzvah, we're connecting to God. So if we, the little yud on the bottom, wants to connect to the big yud on the top, we connect through doing mitzvahs. That's what we connect. Anytime we're connecting, if our Wi-Fi is down and we need to connect, we just do a mitzvah. How big of a mitzvah do we have to do? Sometimes do a mitzvah. We connect. Now, we're going to allow us to do this. I'm going to try to run as quick as possible. If I'm not being understood, then let me know. Sometimes my English sounds like Spanish. It's so fast. But, starting English. Now, within alphabet, okay, so we remember the alphabet, right? Very good. Right? If you know the first letter of the alphabet, remember the shape of it? Numeric value, by the way, is uno, it's the first letter, 1. And aleph, the word aleph itself means chief, the big chief. Who's one? Who's one? Hashem is one. God is one. The big chief. She, whatever. Hashem is the big chief. In English, we also say, use the word aloof. Someone is aloof, like they're up, oh, they're up there, oh, you think you're God, you're so aloof, right? Right? Aloof, that comes the word aleph, which is one. Hashem is one. Echad, Hashem is one. Hashem echad, God is one. Exactly. Echad starts with an aleph. God is one. Yeah? Now within, there's different types of letters. You'll see different fonts. It's all the same aleph. This is a stick figure aleph. Fancier stick figure. You can do a simpler stick figure, which is just a line. See, this one has a little bit of curve over there. But just a line. And then there's a little line, and there's another little line. And it's an aleph. It's not a similar font. This is script. Cursive. But don't worry about it for now. I'm just showing it. You have it over here on the chart also. You have the script aleph. Don't worry about it for now. Just show you what it is. This, by the way, is my favorite picture here growing up. I love the picture. And for years, my wife said, when we make a playroom, we're going to put this picture on. So we always have it in the background. Some artists, and it's what the olive is. The olive you see on the bottom is spirituality, godliness. On the bottom, you see people having a Shabbos table, looks like, I think. And how do we connect? And it's surely going to shul, doing mitzvahs. I think it's something. Okay, the next letter is Bet. Bet, actually, the name Bet, the way it's spelled. Yeah, I'll get you the video. It says it over here. It's spelled Bet, which spells Bayit. Bayit means a home, a house. First you had Hashem, and then he made a Bayit. He made a house. What's Hashem's house? There's the Beit HaMikdash, which is of course Hashem's house, but actually the whole world. The whole world. The fourth beit is the whole world. The whole world is Hashem's house. We're supposed to make the whole world. We'll make our home into a little base mikdash. Every shul is a base mikdash, and every home school is a mikdash, a small base mikdash. And we're really supposed to make Hashem. What do we do in our house? We live in a house, and we have to make it a place where you're comfortable to live. You're not stiff. You're not in the house. You take your tile. You can open up 3 buttons, and you could relax. And that's what we want Hashem to do. We want Hashem to feel comfortable in the world. We don't want Hashem to feel embarrassed or uptight in the world or whatever. Hashem to feel relaxed around us. Shalom Bayit. When have peace at home, Hashem should have peace with us also, and everything should be good, relaxed. No tension between us. I don't like tension. Okay? The Bet. Dos. 2. With the creation of the world, now there's a possibility for duality. That's what the number 2 represents. That's what the Bet represents. Okay, now the Bet, which has a duality to it, and what sound does the Bet make? What sounds the Aleph make? It doesn't have a sound of its own, or whatever. It doesn't have a sound of its own. Okay. That's the Aleph. The Bet, only second letter of the Bet, Aleph was first. That was the Aleph. The Bet has a B sound. So the way the vowels work, you can have a vowel under it a little later, and you have an A vowel on the bottom of the Bet. What's that going to make the Bet sound? We have a oo sound on the bottom of the Bet. It's going to be oo. Okay. Now the Bet, which is how much? 2. The second letter is number 2. It has duality, right? So it has a twin. It has a twin brother. Twin sister. And that is the Bet. The Bet. Now, what's the difference between the Bet and the Bet? The Bet has a ball in the middle, and the Bet is vacant. Oh, sorry, a button. Bet has a button. A button. Bet has a button. And the Bet is vacant. Void. How much is the numerical value of Bet? Also 2. Same 2. Same house. Now, as you go further, you'll learn how the Hebrew letters are not just letters, they're ingredients. If we open up a box, a pack of, you look at a pack of Pringles, you get, before it says, before you pop, once you pop, you can't stop. Before it says that, you should look at how many, and you look at how many calories it has, how many ingredients, so it's made out of ingredients. Well, this world is made out of ingredients also. This is made out of ingredients, made out of, whatever it's made out of, right? There's ingredients to everything. Everything has ingredients. This rule has ingredients. And Kabbalah explains how each letter has a certain power to it. These letters are alive. They're live letters. It's not plastic. It's live letters. It's real letters, and they have powers to it. And when we put the powers together, we create things. The Kabbalists, great Kabbalists, they create things. They create a golem. Well, if you know how to work the letters good enough, maybe you create a golem. And everybody wants to do that, but it can be a little scary. But that's what it is. Once you know these letters are ingredients. That's what they are. So the bet and the vet in the Torah they look the same, but they sound different. They're the same numerical value. So there's a lot of similarity between the bet and the vet. They look different. Now, I want to bring your attention that there's other letters. Forget about what those letters are now. Don't look at those letters. I just want to show you that there's a difference between the letters that look similar. This is the bet and the vet. This is a different letter. What's the difference between the bet and the vet and these two letters? The little tail or the base. I like to call it a base because over here you have the longer base in the back. The bet base has a longer base in the back, and this has more curve. No base. I also want to point out that you'll have a slightly different font in the Torah. This is a bet in the Torah. The Torah starts with the word bet, with the letter bet, and it's brought down. The Talmud asks, why does the Torah start with a bet and not an aleph? Shouldn't it start with an aleph, the Torah? And the Talmud says because bet stands for bracha, stands for blessing. And that's why it starts with a bet. The question, of course, is find new words that maybe not such good and start with a bet. And there are another class like I complicated it, but just remember that the Torah starts with a bet. What's interesting is every page in every book of Talmud starts with page bet. Doesn't start with an aleph. Page 1 starts with page bet. And the simple explanation is that we always have to know that there's something before Torah. Torah is the ingredients of the world. It says Hashem, Istakel Baraita Bar Hashem, the blueprint of the world. Hashem looked inside the Torah and the world was created through the lens of Torah. But that's page 2. There's something that comes before the world. There's something that comes before Torah. That's Hashem, who made it both. The bet also has it has a vacancy over here because we can only move forward. Remember the alphabet, we read from right to left, right? So you can't look behind. We didn't know before creation. We can't look that way. We're only moving forward. In Hebrew we say yalla. In Spanish we say vamos. Yeah, let's move, right? And we go forward. Forward on. And what's the sound of the bet? What sound does it make again? What sound does the bet make? The best? It's like a beat. Like depending on the vowel. It could be ba, boo, be, be, bo, bi, bi. Right? Depending on the vowel. But we'll get to the vowels later. We're not doing vowels. Okay, so we have the aleph, the bet, and the bet. So holding letter Gimel. So the Gimel makes what sound? Go, like a G. Gimel. The Gimel is shaped. What number is Gimel? 3. Gimel's 3. The Gimel is shaped. The glamorous Gimel has a shoe, like a shoe you put over there. But actually, high heel. Actually, um, um, this is a tool that I wanted to use when you get a chance. Let me just one more letter. Come back in a second. Second. So, yeah, come back. Yeah, we give a over here. See, has this face. We're not doing this letter yet. I just want to see the difference between the letter. This letter is flat. This one has like a shoe over here. Okay? It's important. We'll come back in a second. The next letter is Dalet. Dalet is how much? 4. And what sound does it make? The D, like a D. The sound. If you have a sound under the Dalet, what's it going to make? Da. Okay. Now the Dalet means poor. Dalet also means a door. A poor person stands at the door. Yeah. Gimel means to give, a giver. Give. And this is a fun. Hold on. This is a fun. This is you want to chart? Yeah. No, a door, like a door.
Oh, a door. Oh, okay.
So the Talmud says, why is it cool?
What do you have to think to get the next letter, Zadie?
You need to imagine someone bent over, poor and hungry.
Okay.
That's a Dalet. Dalet means poor. Now imagine someone chasing that poor person. That's a Gimel. Gimel means giver.
Those are 2 letters.
That's because those 2 letters go together. Gimel is chasing Dalet.
Why?
Because Gimel wants to help Dalet.
So much?
Of course, because Dalet can give Gimel something Gimel doesn't have.
Dalet doesn't have anything he's what?
Right. So the only way Gimel can have a mitzvah is by chasing Dalet to give him something.
Can I get it? Like you getting the mitzvah by teaching me.
Reason why I'm showing this. First of all, it's so good. Second of all, I want you to use this tool. I'm gonna show you afterwards the link where to go. Put it up over here, and you can learn so much from these little what they call Kabala tunes. Each one on another letter. The Gimel Dal is a double. But the Gemara says, I remember learning this in 7th grade. We were learning the Talmud on Shabbos, and the Gemara says over there, the Talmud says that why is the Gimel coming before the Dalet? It's going to include each of the letters, why one comes before the other. Right? So we discussed before why the Aleph comes before the Bet. First Hashem, there's yet one, right? Hashem is one, Aleph, you have the chief, and then he builds the world, the Bet, the Bayit. The next step is the Gimel and the Dalet. The Gimel is the giver, and the Dalet is the receiver. And The Talmud says specifically, always Hashem puts the giver before the receiver in order that the receiver should give. It says before Hashem puts any sickness in the world, he puts already the cure. The cure is there before the sickness. So if someone's ever in a pickle, you should know that the way to get out of the pickle already exists. Okay? So Gimel and Dalet also, by the way, Gimel 3 represents our forefathers, Dalet represents our foremothers, Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, our foremothers, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah, and again, same word. Okay? Good? Ready to move on? Okay, now, the Dalet is a little dent over here. That's because okay, the Dalet, you also have a letter. We're not going to do that. We're going to get there later. But it looks very similar to the Dalet. I'm just bringing it up to show the difference between the Dalet and the other letter. See, the Dalet has that dent over there. This letter doesn't. This letter's rounded. Okay? Dalet gets how much? The next letter is the letter K. Okay. K, by the way, is one of the creation letters. There's two. All the letters were used in the creation of the world. Talmud says, Hashem looked inside the Torah and created the world. All the letters were important letters in creating the world. However, there were two primary letters which were used in the creation of the world. One of them was the letter Yud. I mentioned Yud before. Actually, we didn't get to Yud yet, but North Lane Aleph, we spoke about Yud. And actually, every single time we write, we put our pen down to write a letter. Before we write the letter, we're writing a Yud. Right away, we put a pen down. We're already making a Yud before we write the creation letter. So every letter starts with a Yud. It's a creation letter of all the letters. When the scribe is writing a mezuzah, tefillin, or a Torah scroll, or Megillah, every letter he starts with, he doesn't start on the bottom. He starts on the top here with the Yud. Right there we have a Yud. That's where he starts. Okay? So starting with the Yud. Every letter starts with Yud. In speech, before you start speaking, you're just breathing. What letter are you breathing? Hey. Okay? Hashem spoke and created the way. Created with speech. That speech starts with the letter Hey. So the two primary creation letters are Yud and Hey. Like it says in Tehillim, Ki v'ka Hashem tzurlam, the letters Yud and Hey, Hashem created the world. So this is the second main letter, creation letter, it's letter Hey. That's, what sound is it? Like which letter in English? H. And how much is it? 5. So we have, without looking inside, we have first letter is Aleph, Bet, Bet. One second, before we have the Gimel, we have the Aleph, Bet, Bet, Gimel, Dalet. So I have so much fun doing. That's my kids. I do every year, and when we get young kids, is before we search for the chametz before Pesach, the night before Pesach, we search for the chametz, and when we do the search for the chametz, we're supposed to put out 10 pieces of chametz. We wrap them up, put them behind the place of the house, and we do the whole search. And after the search, our custom to keep in houses that we then do a recount to make sure we have everything. And I tell them what letter is 10, and they know it's Yud. And okay, let's count it. We do Aleph, Bet, Bet, Yud, and then we only get to 10. We get one short always. Say, oh, what do we do now? We're missing one. And then, of course, one of the middle kids right away. No, what are you talking about? Okay, so we have the letter Hey. I don't know why they put it like this, but the system they use. My kids always say, "Hey, Mr. Hey, are you okay?" Even though you have a broken leg, it doesn't rhyme. I don't know why they get it, but the Hey somehow has a broken leg. Right then, it's not broken at all. It's fixed. It's exactly where it's supposed to be. But the Hey has another letter which is similar to it. Hey has an opening over there. If you see, and that is, you should always know wherever we get into, there's a way out of everything. That's the Hey. We don't have a way out. That's another letter that we're going to learn soon. When we don't have a way out, we're going to get to that. The letter that looks like the Hey, we don't have a way out. And so, just to recap, we have what is that? We did good also. We did good in puzzle. We didn't learn it. We just learned it. We cheated. We're going to have a little. This is the order of the letters.
But that's different because I have to.
Which is the long stick?
This you over there. The other one, this one.
We didn't learn those yet. We didn't learn about yet. We just learned Aleph and then give Aleph Hey.
You said something.
Absolutely appreciate it. Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. Okay? Huh? Okay, so last time I taught this, someone asked me why is the gimbal, why is the Dalit facing that way? What should it be facing the giver? She's running. Oh, right. She's running. She's embarrassed. Why is she? It's embarrassed. It's embarrassed. That's looking the other way. And that's really the way it is. And our job is to make the Dalit not embarrassed. To try to make the Dalit. It's not always easy. Sometimes the Dalit could be difficult, and we could think we're so hot. We're the Gimel. So it could be a little difficult, but that's our job is to make the Dalit not feel so embarrassed. So we have to try to do the mitzvah. Okay, next. Next letter is a Vav. Remember, when we did stick figures, so the Vav is just a stick. Simple. This is a nicer fancy font. But really, a Vav is just a stick. Okay? The numerical value of Vav is how much? 6. And 6. And what does it sound like? What letter? P. Take a P. Yeah. Now, the Vav is a connector, we said before.
Yes.
So the Vav is a connector letter. The Vav actually is, Yud is the godliness, and Vav is drawing that godliness down to this world. It's pulling it down, bringing it down to this world. Constantly, every connection we make, we're drawing godliness into this world. Every mitzvah we do, we're bringing more light into this world. Every time the Gimel runs after the Dalit, he's bringing light into this world. He's taking the Yud and he's pulling it down. He's drawing it down. And that's our job, always to be that Vav, to always bring down that godliness into the world. Now, you'll see the Vav is different than the next letter. The Vav is very straight. It's also thinner than the other letters. It's thinner and it's straight. Vav, the translation of the word Vav is a hook. Actually, should be a different type. Vav is actually the type of hook it is if you look in the Torah, when we had the Mishkan, which was a traveling Beit HaMikdash that we had in the desert, the traveling Mishkan we had in the desert, it had a courtyard, and the courtyard was made out of columns, beams, whatever columns, and those columns had like a hollow on it. So imagine you have two next to each other, and they were connected. That connection, that hook was full of others. That hook that connects the two beams, two beams. Huh? Yes. So we're columns. The next letter is a Zion. It looks almost like a Vav. It's also thin, but instead of the top, which is also called in people speak of the Yud of it, right? That's the Yud of the. Like every letter has a Yud, right? So the Yud of the Zion is centered, unlike the Vav. Unlike the Vav, which is very straight, the Zion, we're going to take this Yud and move it over. Right? Take a look again. And this letter is called a Zion. What sound does it make? It's like a V. Okay? Now, what number is it? 7. Okay? And the word Zion actually means an arm, like ammunition, like a sword, like a tool, a fighting tool. More zigzagging. Oh, there we go. See it? Like a dagger. See it? Like something. In our mission in the world to bring the godliness down, he says above us to bring the godliness down to the world. And that mission to bring the godliness down, not always so easy. Sometimes it's a fight. Sometimes it's a fight. Not sometimes. Always. Huh? What do I say? Most of the time. Okay, most of the time. It's always, yeah. Who's left? Okay, see it? Zion, one of the most difficult mitzvahs, probably most people find is the most difficult mitzvah, is the mitzvah of Shabbat. That's the most difficult way to bring God into the world. Is that number 7, the 7th day of the week. Once we learn all the letters, remind me to come back to number 7. This is some really cool stuff. Shabbat. Says we are a secret weapon. Menachem Begin. No, sorry. Ben-Gurion, who was the first Prime Minister of Israel. First Prime Minister of Israel. He's known for saying that more than the Jewish people have kept the Shabbat has kept the Jewish people. It's something special we have with bringing our children up to Shabbat. It's, we should never look at it as a burden. We should look at it as a privilege to have Shabbat. And the family together and very special thing. It's a very special tool. And throughout the ages, we see over and over again that the special Shabbat meal, the special Shabbat environment to keep the family together. The next letter is the Chet. Chet makes what sound? Like Chala, like Hanukkah, like Jose, like Hukim, or like a Chuba. Chana. Like a chuppah. A chuppah, we get married under the chuppah. What's the number? What's the numerical value? 8. Hanukkah, by the way, which also starts with a ches, is how many days? 8 days. 8 represents the number which is above nature. 7 represents nature. You have the 7 days of the week. Shabbat, we said, is a secret weapon. Number Zion, number 7. Chet represents one above nature. And that's what the holiday of Hanukkah represents. That something above nature. We connect to Hashem in a way which is above nature. A little baby boy gets a brit. And what day? At the 8th day. At the 8th day. Again, we're connecting. We're giving them a connection to Hashem in a way which is higher than nature. We want the connection to be higher than nature. And really, that's what a chuppah is. Marriage is a partnership. It's a 3-way partnership. We have the groom, the bride, we have Hashem. Unless we bring Hashem into that and bring them in as a full partner, then well, that's the way to success. And then once we have 8, once we have the chet, once we have that, we have the next letter, which is tet. Tet makes what sound? T sound, and looks a little like a peacock, tea kettle. You know? Yeah, you see the peacock here? It'll help you, by the way. A silly picture is worth say 1,000 words, right? A picture is worth 1,000 words. A silly picture is worth 10,000 words. So, think of a teapot, the teal, will help you remember it, especially since there's another letter which looks very similar to the text. How much is text? 9. It's called Mitzvah. It's called the number of truth. You know, 9. No matter how many, 10 always comes back to itself. It always comes back to 9. Whatever you multiply 9 by, it comes back to 9. Right? If you do 2 times 9, you get 18. 1 and 8 is 9. You do 3 times 9, you have 27. 27 is 9. Any number you multiply by in the world, it'll always come back to the number 9, and it's called Kabbalah, called this by Emerson number of truth. After we have the chuppah, bring Hashem into the chuppah, then we're able to have the 9 months of pregnancy. Now, again, the tet can be very, very mistaken for this letter. That's why it's important to remember the kippah. This will spill out. Right? He's going to spill out of here. So, you got to use this one as a kippah. Okay? So, So, not to get mixed up. And then finally, what letter do we have over here? We did this letter before. Letter Yud. Yud represents Hashem, and there's a custom that when 2 Jews get together, say L'chaim. L'chaim to life. I don't know. I can say when I get here Shabbos morning, it's already finished. So when 2 Yuds get together, we make a L'chaim. L'chaim is spelled with 2 Yuds. We'll get to it. Maybe you'll see L'chaim spelled with 2 Yuds. When 2 Yuds come together, it's a reason to say L'chaim. 2 Yuds come together, it's God's name. You better believe it's a reason to say L'chaim. Because we're bringing godliness into the world. And when we bring godliness into the world, it's a reason to say L'chaim. So the Yud is that spark. The Yud and the Hey spell God's name. And that's those two main creation letters we spoke about earlier. Those are the two creation letters, the Yud and the Hey. Huh?
It's 10.
Yud is 10. Yud is 10. Numeric value is 10. It represents completeness. There's the 10 utterances Hashem created the world with.
The 10 commandments.
Then Hashem gives the 10 commandments. And bringing it a step closer home, we learned before the Aleph. We learned the Aleph before, and we have a Yud on top, a Yud on the bottom, and the Vav in the middle that connects it. Question is, why is the Yud on the bottom upside down? I think it was just a swap. We use different parts. Right. When in my drawing, I guess the guy whoever did this font, he felt very big. I don't know, but so why is it upside down? Deeper, you're right, but on a simple level, because it says God created us in His image, and because God created us in His image, take stick figure, easier, stick figure, like a mirror, exactly. So it's upside down. We're upside down. We're creating the image of God, and what it means when we're creating the image of God is that in Kabbalah discusses the 10 sefirot, and there is also the 10 faculties of the soul. There's the 10 sefirot, and Hashem created us with 10 faculties. When we are acting the way we're supposed to act, with all our faculties, or in English they say with all our marbles, we have balance. We're not going to have too much kindness. We're balanced. We're not just everything yes. We're yes men. Good, yes. We tell our kids yes to everything.
No.
Yes. Then are we really being kind? We're being a little cute. Right? We lost our marbles. We say no to everything. Not to get no. No. If we say no to everything, we're not being balanced. A person who has a healthy balance has yes, has no, has beauty, has everything, all the 10 faculties, which we're doing the Catholic Omer, the spirit of Omer, the Catholic Omer, and every day of the Omer, we're supposed to be flying another one of our character traits. And those are the character traits that we work on. And so Hashem created us in His image. That Yud, that 10, is the 10 faculties of the soul, which we are supposed to emulate God with. We're supposed to try to copy God in all those 10 faculties. And so that's why the Aleph has the Yud, which is upside down. Okay, so how much is Yud? 10. Okay, what sound does it make? Like a Y, like a yeah. So if you have a sound under the Y, what would it be? Yeah. And you have a U sound under the Yud, U. And if you have an A sound, yay. Now, I remember all my kids somehow, I don't know if I'll say kindergarten teacher, but when they all have the same Hanukkah song. Somehow they all wind up the same Hanukkah song. They do like a show. And it starts off like, I don't know the whole song, but it all starts like this. Take something small and watch it go bigger. Yud is the smallest letter. but it's one of the creation letters. Hashem created a huge world, starting with a little yud. And that's something for us to remember always, that everything big starts with something small. Okay, so let's do a recap. What letter is this one? Vav. See, remember again the difference between the Vav and the Zayin. Remember, it's very straight before zigzagging, right? This is right. This is like this one is think of the dagger over here, right? That's your weapon. Then we have chet, right? Which makes the ch sound, number 8. Then we have the head to the teapot, which makes a T sound. Yeah. Then we have yud, little baby yud, which is which has the Y sound. Go further. Two more, so a little further. All right, we learned the bet before. The bet was very similar to this letter. What letter is this one? Kaf. Kaf has what sound? Kaf sound. Kaf. And the Kaf has a twin also, twin sister, and that is the Chaf. And what sound does the Chaf make? Just like the Chet. Same sound as the Chet, the Chaf makes. They're used differently, they have different numerical values, and obviously they have different ingredients. And just like, you know, not everything calls for a salt. Some people call for a little sugar. So might be very similar, but it's different. It's different mechanics, right? There's a molecule, different. Okay. The cup has a cough drop inside, and the cup is a little sore there. Kaf means bent, like kafuf is bent, and it shows our submission. We're given over to the Yud to Hashem. This is the final kaf. This is the first letter we're learning as the final letter, final kaf. So if you have a kaf at the end of a letter, it'll be a final kaf. The same numerical value. Anybody know the numerical value of kaf? The one before that was 10. What's kaf? 20. Kaf is 20. How would we make an 11? Yud Aleph is 11. Yud and Aleph is 11. Kaf now is 20. Okay? And the next letter after is going to be 30. Okay? Finish with this letter. We'll use the last letter. Okay? This letter, what letter is this one? Lamed. Lamed is higher than all the other letters. Lamed means to learn. Lamed means to learn. Higher. It says, we say in the morning davening, the Talmud Tarek called learning is more than better than anything. There are a few things that are better than anything. But one of the things that are better than anything is learning. Learning is knowledge is power. Right? Lamed. Lamed also means to teach. It's the same word in Hebrew, to learn and to teach. Because teaching is learning, and if you learn and you don't teach, your learning is worth nothing. And so whatever we learn, we have to share. Share our love. All right. So what letter is this again? Lamed. How much is Lamed? 30. And what sound does it make? Like a okay. They all have yud. Every letter has a yud. And again, in stick figure, just put your pen down and have a yud. And of course, you're gonna make it something, right? Everything starts with yud. Okay. So lanky ladder. Okay, so just to recap, you have the final thought and to the alphabet today. I'm telling you, if you just practice it, you'll see next week again, we're going to be reading. And in 5 weeks, you'll have mastered it all completely. Think of all the silly pictures we did. Think of all the, right? And you just review it. And I want to show you some tools which you can get that I found. First of all, there's an app that this PowerPoint has an app, a practice app. You get, they charge $1.99 for it on the App Store or on the Google Play Store. It's called RIIH. Read it in Hebrew. $1.99. They also have a set of cards, but they price it because it's ridiculous price. Ridiculous price. It's like, I don't even remember, $30-something for a set of cards. But if you want, you can get it on Amazon. And of course, you go on Amazon, go to amazon.com as well. Anytime you go to Amazon, anytime you should go to amazon.com. Okay? And that's if you want to buy a set of cards. Otherwise, the app is just as good. Just search for RIIH. Okay? RIIH. Read it in Hebrew. RIIH. So check it out in the App Store or in Google Play Store. And or if you want to get the cards, Amazon.com, you get the cards over there. And here, this is the cute videos I showed you before. You'll love it. You'll absolutely love it. Kabala.org/Kabala tunes. And you'll have all different options there. One of the options is Kabbalah based. And those are the ones we're doing now. Each one is gold. You'll really enjoy it. Short clips, better than any movie. They're funny, they're fun, there's tons of knowledge in them. You wrote it down? Yes. One more advertisement. And that is, in case anyone wants to join us for Shabbat in the Heights, we have a fun. Next weekend, we're going to have a special weekend. It's a lot of fun. It's next weekend, not this weekend, following weekend. It's Friday afternoon, Sunday afternoon, visiting Hasidic Brooklyn. We're going to get a tour of iconic 770. We're going to visit the Rebbe's, next picture of the Rebbe's house over there, actually, which is usually close to the public. Somehow they arrange for it to be open. They're going to see a lot of different, beautiful, interesting places, and it's a great experience. Anybody wants to know more about it, Angel is there, before, and he can tell you a little bit more about the experience. It's a lot of fun, and if anyone is able to take off, just Friday afternoon to Sunday afternoon. I'll be flying in Friday, coming back Sunday, and it's a lot of fun. It's really, be able to come and try to come. And if you're able to go online and give us flags by reading it. Flags by reading.
¿Y cómo se va a acordar?
I should have asked you to do it. I was trying to come to get PowerPoint. But it's not. Okay.
No, yo sé, porque él lo va a hacer para salvar. Todo lo que queremos original.
Shalom Aleichem.
How you are? Yeah, hello. Where are you? You ready? Okay, good. Okay, well, the whole everything's good? So you can't see the ticket, right? Okay, good. All right, excellent. So you're if they want you, whatever. Sometimes you don't do that. That could be what I like. They made it.